It's time to get your geek on with Dave Vermillion.
Celebrity Fan Fest came out and announced that they are going to have a mid-June show. The Celebrity Fan Fest came on last fall in November. They were at the JW Marriott. They brought in stars like Jason Momoa. They brought in Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg in the Justice League movie, and Ben Affleck, who you know who Ben Affleck is.
Chasing Amy, right?
Chasing Amy. He was in Dogma. Good Will Hunting. Clerks.
Armageddon. He was in Armageddon.
He was in Armageddon. Oh, yeah. And wasn't he was Superman.
No.
Green Lantern. Wonder Woman.
Ah, that'd have been fun.
No, Ben Affleck was Batman. And man, I tell you, I got to walk up and get a photo op with him, courtesy of Celebrity Fan Fest. That was nice of them to do it.
So did we.
And I walked up and I had no idea Ben Affleck was 6'4". I did not know this. I thought, because you see him stand next to Matt Damon, like in Dogma, and they seem to be comparable size. I thought he'd be like 5'11", maybe 5'10". God, geez, that guy is tall. And yeah, he still has his Batman shape. He's pretty buff. So now they're going to do a mid-June show, and Bob was supposed to be in studio here to talk about it, help hype it up, but he got called away on business last minute. Could not get him in, which is fine. You know, a man like that, he's going to be busy, so that'll be fine. We'll get him on. I think in February we're going to schedule him to come on in. But I did go ahead and I shoot him my questions. And I said, can we still talk about your show, the Celebrity Fan Fest, if you answer these questions? And he said, absolutely. So I said, all right, so they're moving from the JW Marriott to the Freeman Coliseum and Expo Hall. Well, that's got to bring on a whole new set of challenges. I mean, totally different space, a lot more space, government property, city government property. So what was the primary reason that caused you to select the Freeman? What new challenges are there? And he said that there will be new challenges, but he has a staff of 60 people ready to deliver.
So that's staff. That's paid people.
Yeah, people on staff with him. And he said most people are very happy that we will be centrally located with a park and ride destination. Now, VIA has expanded their park and ride outlets across the city, so that's good news.
Yeah, I will say that was one of when we heard about it's going to be at Freeman, that's the first thing that you and I talked about was this park and ride going to be a thing, because I know that on that property they do charge parking.
Yes, they do.
Wasn't sure of the price, but I knew they did.
That was one of the first questions I asked him.
What's the park and ride? Because I've never done it. You just park in a random spot and...
No, you go to like one of the VIA drop things where you drop your car off and then you get on a bus.
Oh, and it takes you.
And the
like
bus will take you,
point.
yeah.
Okay.
So you park
and then you ride. So when I've typically done it, it's been $5 per person per way.
So if it's two of you, it'd be like $20 basically.
Yeah, there and back.
I mean, it varies.
$5 there, $5 back.
Yeah. And it varies from event to event. They do it for Spurs games. The rodeo is a big park and ride. Fiesta.
I didn't know that.
Fiesta's a huge park and ride.
Yes.
Yeah, they love that.
Yeah.
So there will be parking. If you drive to the Freeman, there will be a parking fee. This is a change from last year. Last year, you could park at the JW Marriott, no problem. No parking fees, and if you parked far enough out, they would shuttle you in. In fact, you could park at Johnson High School, and they would shuttle you in. Now, I actually drove up there. There were quite a few cars up there, so that was pretty cool. But now, it's $15 a car. Parking will be $15. Still cheaper than the Dome, which was $20 last year for the Alamo City Comic-Con. But it's still $15 to park. And unlike the Alamo Dome and the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, you can park and walk straight into the building. There's no stairs. You got to go down and go up. No overpasses. I mean, you just park and you just walk right in. So you're covered there. You don't have to wait for a train.
Depending upon when you get there.
Yeah.
Well, of course. Yeah, depending on how good traffic is. The farther you got to walk.
Yeah.
And he said in regards to check-in, because this is the big thing with any con, is how are you going to handle check-in? He says that everybody that buys a 3-day pass, VIP 3-day pass, or a family pass before May 19th. That's the key. You have to purchase your pass before then. Your badges will be mailed out to you. However, you will still have to go through he says, his words here, super fast, expedited security check through a special entrance that they will set up. He says that they will have 12 entrance lanes to get into the show. So it sounds like a pretty quick and easy way to get in.
That'd be nice.
I think when we were there at the JW Marriott, I think I counted 8 lanes.
Yeah.
When
we were at Compalooza, I think they had 2. Or 4.
I think they had 4.
So they had 3. They had 2 in the front and then that one inside.
Well, and then there were 2 entrances to get in, though. There was the entrance by the hotel that we went in,
Right.
and there was one further down.
Yeah, and then if you went to one of the restaurants and you had to come back in, there was another one.
That's right. Okay, so he'll have 12 entrance lanes to get in there. So all right, that's pretty good. That's all right. And the ticket prices have gone up.
Yes.
They have gone up. They are now on par, give or take, with the Dallas Fan Expo, Dallas Fan Days, and Comic Palooza. And I think they were comparable to Alamo City. Give or take plus or
a
minus.
few bucks here and there.
Yeah, and the package prices are different for each one of these.
Now, I did like their super VIP 3-day pass, which is $500. There's only 200 of those available.
That's right. And once they're gone, they're gone. They're not going to open up any others. So I asked about the prices. I said, is this a sign of things to come? Because typically when a con charges more, it's because they've got big celebs coming in who, of course, demand higher fees. And he said that their prices are slightly higher, but that's a function of quality. Our talent and exhibits will be significantly elevated from other shows. When you factor in discounts, combos that they're going to have, their final prices in many cases will be lower than those shows. So I'm interested to see what kind of photo op autograph combos they're going to have coming out.
Well, yeah, and that was the one thing that separated them in November was like you could get the half-day admission.
I love the half day
with a photo op for under $200.
Yeah. It was the half day was a brilliant idea. I love the half day idea.
So are they going to be sitting on platforms because it's elevated?
I
thought it was funny.
Now here was my question. This one I thought of as soon as I heard it's a mid-June show, and their press statement said that they will utilize the indoor and outdoor space. Outdoors in June in South Texas. And I said, are you concerned about the heat? And he says, not at all. The real heat hits in July and August, but the vast majority of the show is indoors in the air-conditioned Expo Hall in Freeman Coliseum. If he were here, if he were here, I would have said this. Dude, it's plenty hot in June in Texas.
Mm-hmm. It's hot in May.
It's hot in May, yeah. Just because it's 100 degrees in July doesn't mean that 97 in June makes it a whole lot cooler. It's going to be toasty out there. Now, I don't know what they're going to have outside just yet. I mean, it may be 1 or 2 things. It may be a whole panel exhibition. I don't know.
Mist hoses.
Mist hoses.
That's what River City does.
Free drinks. I mean, I don't know, but I'm letting you know right now. It gets toasty outside in Texas in June. July and August are no picnic, but woo, man, that's going to be fun.
Terrible.
He also wanted to let everyone know that unlike other shows or theirs at the JW Marriott, they will have bottled water and soft drinks at 40% lower prices. 40% lower prices. I'm assuming from what they charged last year.
Yeah, and what they charged over at JW was reasonable.
Was it like $5, right, for water and
something like that?
I think it's
like $3, $3 or $4.
Yeah, $3 or $4.
But it was reasonable compared to cons we've been into in the past.
Yeah, where you can expect $5, or if they bring in an outside vendor, like Wild Bill's or somebody, then it's like $25 or something like that.
But you get a souvenir to take with you at that point.
That's true.
Yeah, because I think when Dallas is like $5 a water, I think when we went to Dallas.
That sounds about right. So 40% cheaper would be like $3 then for
$2-3. That's still not bad.
All right, so I asked him also, last year it was a 2-day event. This year it's a 3-day event. Why the change? And he says that it's just going to be a big show. It's just going to be huge, so he needs the extra space in there as well. Here's the big one, though. Here's the big question. They're doing this the same weekend as the Greater Austin Comic-Con and Anime Matsuri out in Houston.
And then isn't Countdown City the very next weekend?
I'm not 100% sure. I think they are, though. I think you're right. So, I mean, that's a lot to ask right there in the same weekend. Were they restricted to choosing that particular weekend? And he says it's unfortunate that, I'm reading his words now, it's unfortunate we're on the same weekend. They had to choose from available dates that did not conflict with the Spurs in the AT&T Center, which would have caused a parking problem. And he said that some of the folks are angry that we didn't confer with them. Given that they confirmed their dates before we did, maybe they should have checked with us and Alamo City Comic-Con. I don't know how the con circuit works. I assume the owners talk to each other at some point, but I don't know if they harvest their dates together or,
I think
or whatever.
Didn't Greater Austin confirm their dates back in October?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure, though. But we do have confirmation that Countdown City Comic-Con is June 29th and 30th.
Oh, so 2 weeks later.
Yeah, 2 weeks later. He said, we want to be friends with all showrunners, but that's just not always possible. We made friends with the Corpus Christi Comic-Con owners, and we swapped info to avoid being on the same June weekend. So Corpus Christi is also, right around the corner as well. Our showrunners think that we have a choice of dates, but it's just not so, he goes on to say. Between graduations in June and other shows and events, there are limited dates to hold a show of this size. And he's right. I mean, that's one of the reasons that Apple had to move the Alamo City Comic Con to the Alamo Dome, was because I think he was faced with the choice of like having it in the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center at Christmas or not at all. So he's like, yeah, we'll move to the Dome, no problem. No one's going to go to a con at Christmas time. So I think that's kind of the same story with moving it on that particular date in the Freeman. He wanted a bigger space, but San Antonio is limited. Well, I'm almost getting ready to go into another rant here. We're limited as to what spaces you can move into. That's a step up from the JW Marriott. It's not ready for the Dome in its second year. Henry B is booked 18 years in advance. And, you got to do what you got to do.
And especially with the events that we have, especially over the summer in the city.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of dates to choose from. And I lay you odds there's an event on that property on either weekend.
You can't do it
on either side of it.
Can't do it in April. That's Fiesta. If you do it in July and August, it better be all indoors.
And if it's May, we have major colleges in this city.
You got major universities, plus there are other cons, events going on. I mean, you're limited by what you choose.
August, September, you have to worry about River City Rock Fest,
Yep.
which is like the biggest rock concert here.
It is. So, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Now, he wouldn't leak any info to me about, who's coming and guests and all that sort of thing. But he did say they'll have over 200 vendors, artists and exhibitors, and a 9,000-seat arena that they'll do some special shows in. So that was the news there from the Celebrity Fan Fest.
No, go ahead. You go first.
So in the first show, which we all agree was done very well. It was a very good show.
Yes.
8 weeks.
Yeah, he put that on in 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
8
Imagine
weeks.
6 months.
Especially given his ambition.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got 6 months.
I believe we actually got a direct quote from Samuel L. Jackson, who learned about what he could do in 6 months, and it was, hold on to your butts.
I think you're missing 2 words in that, but just saying.
Well, it was from Jurassic Park. That was
actually,
So,
and I didn't get the sound of it, but Aaron, I got a quote from Ron Simmons about what he thinks about it.
oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, no kidding. All righty. So, you have a question.
What celebrity do you think would be there, and what celebrity do you want to be there? Going with you, each of us pick 2. So,
I'm going to call my shot. I'm going to say he's going to get Mark Hamill.
okay. And who do you wish he would have?
Mark Hamill.
So yours is the same for both. Okay.
No, I would. I mean, if he could shoot for the moon and get anybody,
who would you wish he could get?
I would want either Anne Hathaway or not Natalie. Harrison Ford.
Okay.
When he says he wants Anne Hathaway, he means to take home with him.
Actually, my wife might approve of that too. She's a big Princess Diaries fan.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that might work.
What about you, sir?
I would go with Henry Cavill,
Okay, good.
Superman, and Tyler Hoechlin,
So which is which? You think,
Superman.
You think he's going to get Henry Cavill? Or
No,
you want him to?
this year I honestly think it's probably going to end up being a Marvel year.
Okay.
So if he could get RDJ or Chris Evans,
Oh, if he gets RDJ,
Okay.
yeah.
Robert Downey
Who
Jr.
I think he will get is.
Ooh.
I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Pratt shows up.
That's
Yeah.
a good one. I think that's
Okay.
man.
It would not surprise me if Chris Pratt showed up.
What about you? What do you think?
I think, okay, so my wish, Michelle Rodriguez. 'Cause
Yeah,
I love
good
her.
call.
Who I think, Samuel Jackson. I think he's never come out this way, I don't think.
Well,
And
and
that'd be a big one.
he did post a picture with Samuel L. Jackson lead up to the first one.
And Samuel
He
does
did.
love the Spurs.
He did. That's very true.